Hey there, and welcome to my channel, The Paper Bag Investor. Today, I want to give another update on the Very Good Food Company that released earnings just this week, and also had some announcement with their earnings regarding their California facility, and some very exciting news on the size of that facility. So let's get into it. Before I go any further, I just want to make it absolutely clear I'm not a personal financial advisor, not personal financial advice in any way. I'm just a guy with a paper bag on his head who loves investing and thinking about the future. If you love investing and you love thinking about the future, I encourage you hit that subscribe button down below and become a better investor with me. Lots of YouTubers, lots of investing YouTubers are all about throwing out all kinds of dozens of different stock ideas, growth stocks, the next hot stock of the moment. That's not what my channel is about. That's not what my investing philosophy is all about. I'm really all about searching for those huge winners, those huge generational companies, and really trying to look from many angles, many perspectives here, and consider many different angles and perspectives on a company until you find these gem companies, these huge winners. And when you do find those, really investing and concentrating as deeply as you can. Especially relative to your conviction level for them. So that's mine. If that really jives with you, if that rings true to you, I encourage you hit that subscribe button down below and join my channel as it grows. But today I want to talk about the Very Good Food Company. I just did a video a few days ago where I was talking about an announcement last week for their Vancouver facility, where I was saying they're really planning to do maybe over $300 million a year in annualized sales from this Vancouver facility. But in today's earnings email, and I'm going to bring up that email here right away. So here's the email, and it kind of gives, and if you don't get these emails, you can go to the Very Good Foods Investor Relations page. Just Google Very Good Food IR, and it'll come right up, and you'll be able to find their Investor Relations page. And you can sign up for these emails because they're through the Canadian Securities Exchange in Vancouver. Some of how their information is released is maybe a little bit different, and there's such a tiny company, it's not always as obvious or widely spread when they do release news, so it's maybe a good idea to get those email updates. The Very Good Food Company reports Q3 fiscal 2020 results. Let's just roll into this. The revenues were almost $1.4 million, which is 26% quarter-over-quarter growth, 322% year-over-year. So that's good. Still not like Matt jumping off the page, but like that's very good growth. They're continuing to grow and accelerate. So 1.4 million of revenue, and you're talking 5-6 million sort of annualized run rate. So gross margin again almost at 40% over a 9-month period. It improved from 28% the year before, so that's good. You're close to that 40% mark. There you have some more numbers. I'm just going to scroll down into this, though. CEO Mitchell Scott said, "We're particularly happy with the results this quarter, and we're able to generate an increase in top-line revenue in spite of production constraints and a worsening COVID landscape that has negatively affected our industry peers. As we move closer to the initial launch date of our upcoming facilities, we remain committed to operating our business in a focused and disciplined manner. We're making necessary investments to ensure that our new facilities launch with the right equipment and team in place to scale rapidly and meet the growing demand for our product." So that's a nice quote from him. Those are really the most important things, is executing on this really aggressive growth plan, because right now they're extremely this is a company, they're only doing 5-6 million in sales, but they have way more demand than they do have capacity. It's really hard to get their products, actually. If you do want to order their products, you may have to wait many weeks to order it directly to your home. It's not a lot of stores you can find it in, so they're severely production constrained at this point. Okay, and here's where they talk about some key highlights, and something exciting is what they're calling the Patterson facility, which is out of Patterson, California. And so they said end of August they signed a lease for a building there. And okay, we're going to scroll down, and they mentioned that this facility is located at the same property as a logistics provider who's going to be doing a lot of the shipping and to key suppliers, and then I guess throughout the U.S. will ship from this point, so that's why they located it there. in Patterson, California. Okay, but here's where it gets kind of really interesting. Patterson facility will supply the U.S. market long term and is expected to be capable of producing up to 98.5 million pounds of annualized product. It was previously disclosed at 28 million, so more than a 3x increase from what they said. What's crazy though, okay, I talked about this in my last video, but the Rupert facility they're calling out of Vancouver is planning to do 37 million pounds a year. And right now, the Victoria facility that I visited, it's only doing 1.3, 1.4. That's what their planned production. I don't even think it's not even doing that amount yet. But 1.3, 1.4 million pounds a year out of that. And they're going to like 37 million, in the Vancouver one, and then 97.5 million out of or 98.5 million out of the California facility. So like they scroll down here, and in my last video they mentioned, I believe it is down here, they plan to average the most, they're going to do about 70% of their sales they predict in the future through wholesale channels. Current gross sales per pound are $7 to $10. So I was averaging maybe $8.50 in my last video that maybe they could sell their products for wholesale. So if I'm just going to bring up a calculator here, if we just do this, say in millions, so we say there's 98 million pounds from the California one and 37 million from the California one, and then I don't know, we'll say 1.5 from the Victoria one, kind of average it out, 136.5, and then million pounds a year, and you multiply that by $8.50 a pound. That's 1.160 millions, or $1.16 billion in sales. So they're scaling, or they're planning. The numbers they're giving are that they could be over $1 billion in sales a year. To put it in perspective, right now, I think actually I took a picture of this. Beyond Meat, they do 94.4 million for their last 3 months currently in sales. Okay, so Beyond Meat's maybe doing not quite 400 million in sales at an annualized run rate right now. And they're a $7-8 billion company. So Very's planning to do $1 billion in sales, and they're only a $200 million company right now. Of course, they're not even close to $1 billion in sales. They do $5 million in sales. So they have these huge audacious goals, and I love that as an investor. Really, really love that they have these global ambitions, because obviously the pricing that they're at right now, they need to at least have those global ambitions and execute on that. Otherwise, they're way overpriced if they're just going to be a really niche kind of farmers market company. But if they can grow to a company that's doing $1 billion in sales and is worth, I'm going to say, a multi-billion-dollar market cap at that point in time, there's obviously huge, tremendous upside on the stock. So it's exciting as a long-term investor. The biggest risks, I said this in my last video, but I'll just reiterate it again. The biggest risks for me is, number one, can they execute on that the plan that they have? And so far it seems that they are executing well, but can they actually grow to that scale and operate and grow these and get the production they're planning out of these facilities? But even bigger risk, I think, is there the demand, and are their products good enough to scale to that size? From what I've seen, from what I've read, and I tried a couple of their products myself in my first video I did on them. I'll also link that down in the description. I did try their products, a couple of their products, but I'm not a vegan eater myself, so I don't have a lot to compare it to. But what I have read and what I have seen, they are very, very positively rated. And I would love to hear from you guys. If anyone here's watching this has tried their products, is a vegan eater, especially if you're that kind of person, I'd love to hear your thoughts on their products, because that, to me, that's the biggest question. Are their products big enough to go Showtime, like to do $1 billion in sales? Or are they going to try and be pushing all this product and it's not going to sell? It's not going to capture the interests of the market, and that could be a huge disaster for the company. So that to me is the biggest risk with Very Good Foods and these huge audacious plans they have. But overall, though, I love it. Though the meat industry is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, so why can't they sell $1 billion of fake veggie vegan meat? I think that's awesome. And I said in my other video, I think this demand for meat in the world is growing as the population of the world increases. And then generally, as poverty is diminished across the world, more and more people in those kind of nations are going to want to eat meat. So I think meat overall, people are going to want to eat more meat going forward. And then I think the niche industry of veggie-based meat alternatives also is going to grow as people do that, either choose that for their lifestyle, choose that for they care about the rights of animals, or they choose that, especially I think the biggest factor, kind of X factor like this, is environmental reasons that people care about climate change and greenhouse gases. So I could see that a company like this, there's room for them to sell $1 billion in sales, and they could have huge growth ahead. And that's what again, what really excites me. But okay, I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of Very? Have you tried their products? This key question: have you tried their products? And if you're wondering from me, would I buy, sell, or hold Very Good Foods? In my opinion, I would still be buying some at the current prices. Again, this is not personal financial advice, and they're only a small part of my portfolio. If I was absolutely sure that they had the best recipes out there, and I'm still learning that and figuring that out and researching that, then I would invest more heavily. But they're still a pretty tiny part of my portfolio, but I would still consider buying even more shares at the current pricing, because I think just these aggressive plans from the leadership of the company are very exciting. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you got value out of this video, please hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button to get more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.